Show of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Experts show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Good morning. I should say Tampa, but we have been getting letters from all over Florida. So welcome, Florida. This is the Ask the Expert show, where we bring you the finest experts in the field of health, legal, financial, and home improvement. So we do this show throughout the country, and I've been doing this show for 10 years now. And I got to tell you, our next guest is very, very dear to my heart. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. I suffer from sleep apnea. I feel like I'm at an addict conference, and I am an addict. I have sleep apnea. Had it for about 5 years. And if you suffer through sleep apnea, you will understand why today's show is so important to me. I have got, it's dangerous, folks. It's very dangerous. People kind of just walk through it like it's not a big deal. And there's a lot of you out there who snore and don't want to admit you snore. See, I know who you are because I was like that. So today's show is so important to me, because you're going to learn, we're going to talk about different techniques. Now, I use a CPAP machine, but I am getting ready, hopefully, to change that, because I'm going to be not a guinea pig. I'm going to be a patient of Dr. Bennett's. And every week we're going to report to you the progress. And I do really mean progress. This is a very special show. And let me just welcome someone I'm in awe of right now, Janet Bennett. Good morning, Janet.
Good morning, Steve. I'm so glad to be here. And I say, stop snoring, Tampa. We are so glad to be back.
Well, listen, I know that a lot of you people are listening and watching the show around the country. It doesn't matter what city you're in, because Janet can do like a Zoom, and which we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing with her. So it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. So I'm telling you, listen, if your husband or your wife is a snorer, if you have friends that you know snore, of course they're not going to admit it, but you want to write this phone number down today, and you want them to contact Janet. Janet, first of all, we're getting letters that people are finding us for the first time, and I want you to reintroduce yourself to everybody.
Okay. I'm Janet Bennett, speech pathologist. I've been practicing speech therapy for a really long time. Anyway, so I'm gonna give you the whole story very quickly so that we can expound on it later, okay? In 2003, I was treating a 14-year-old football player for a tongue thrust. So some of you don't know what a tongue thrust is. I'm sure you've seen people with teeth that stick out like buck teeth. And some people, they make a lisp sound. Their S sounds like a thun instead of a sun. That's called a tongue thrust. It's when the swallowing is not correct and the tongue sticks out whenever they talk and swallow. So anyway, I trained them just by making a new habit. I trained their tongue to live on the roof of the mouth so that it doesn't fall down and get in their way when they talk. I also, whenever we do this, they learn how to breathe through their nose instead of their mouth. Anyway, so my third visit, I have 7 lessons. My third lesson with this guy named Adam, he came to my office and his mother came in and she said, "What are you doing to Adam, Janet?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. What do you mean?" And she said, "He's always been the loudest snorer in the world. He rattled our windows. And now he's not making a sound." Okay, so I want you to just take that in. What would you have said? I didn't know anything about snoring. And so I said, "Adam, tell me more. What's going on?" He said, "It's true." He said, "I can concentrate in school now. My grades are better." Y'all, this is after him doing 2 lessons in for his third lesson. And
Of the 7.
yes. And he said, as a 14-year-old football player, he said to me, "I run faster." That's what caught my ear because I thought there's more to these tongue exercises than I realize. So I got on the computer and I thought I would find that the treatment for snoring and maybe sleep apnea was tongue exercises. Surely everybody knew about this, but that wasn't it at all. There was no mention of tongue exercises anywhere. Well, since that day, I have been truly passionate about helping people stop snoring and stopping their tongue thrusting through simple tongue exercises. So it's a simple cure for a very common problem. I immediately found 86 people all over the United States who would be my guinea pigs. And they helped me. I wanted to write a program so that I could share it with everyone. So I wanted it worded correctly and easy to understand. And after working with these 86 people, 94% stopped snoring. Now, you won't find that
That's
number
amazing.
anywhere. So with that said, I felt very confident in what I had. You say, "Well, how can you prove it?" Well, the way to prove it is one little girl told me, "I know I'll stop snoring because my cat has come back to sleep with me again." Okay. That it may, but that proved to her that she wasn't snoring anymore. And so, snoring is just what you say. With that said, I have this program that you do every week. You do tongue exercises, and you can get it online and do it yourself. However, you are never alone. I'm there in a video showing you exactly how to do the exercise. And then I'm in another video for you to practice your exercises because you do have to practice 2 times a day for like 10 or 15 minutes each time. Folks, this is, I know practicing might sound terrible, but this is the only way to make new habits. And so your new habits that you're going to form are tongue up on the roof of the mouth and close your lips so you breathe through your nose. Okay? So I kind of was thinking about this. A lot of people have heard my story, and a lot of people have done this program. But there are a lot of people who have not. And it's not just that they haven't done my program, but I'm afraid that they haven't done much of anything else. A lot of people who get the CPAP, it ends up in their closet real often. Steve, I'm proud of you for using it, because you get the benefits from it. And if you don't sleep, think of all of you out there who don't sleep, you know what the symptoms are. You feel like you're living in a fog. You're tired all the time. You wake up with a dry mouth. You might wake up with a headache. You get sleepy during the day. Every day it's hard to concentrate. And then you get in your car and drive home, and you are pretty susceptible to having a wreck or some kind of accident because you're so
Yes.
sleepy. They're just a string of things. And so it's time, I want everyone to try my program. However, if I can help someone decide, just to go get help somewhere, that's what's important. I know that my tongue exercises over the past, I've been doing this for 20 years. the tongue exercise for stop snoring. And people sometimes say it's too good to be true. We were brought up to believe that. Well, folks, things are different now. Okay. Yes, it's too good to be true, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work. I mean, that's the good thing. I've made it easy for you. So I really wanted to try to separate, if you will, actually my program from what the real reason is that people are listening today. You're snoring, you don't feel good. Okay, so snoring and sleep apnea, what's that all about? You can start out snoring and maybe snore for 10 years or whatever, and your snoring might get louder and louder. Well, what's happening when you're snoring is your tongue is creeping its way down your throat, and it's blocking part of your airway, and that causes that sound of snoring. So there's no need to be embarrassed by it, because probably more than half the world does it. You are not alone. And then as you do it more and more years, it could lead to sleep apnea. And sleep apnea is just a step further with the tongue, where it totally blocks your airway. And you can't breathe. And your brain wakes you up with a snort.
That's exactly right.
Yes. So that's what it is. That's the story. Real easy story. And there's an easy fix. And that is that tongue that's creeping down your airway. Instead of it getting suctioned into your airway, the tongue has a natural ability to suction. Instead of that happening, you learn to keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth suctioned up there, so it can't fall down and block your airway. The other
You
big
know,
Go ahead.
Janet, there are so many, I'm going to say this, gimmicks out there that say they can get you to stop snoring. And believe me, I've tried a lot of them, because, and you just mentioned it, it's like deja vu listening to you talk. I would drive down the street and start nodding off. That's how bad this is.
Mm-hmm.
And until that happened, I finally said, I am going to do something about this.
Mm-hmm.
What's so great about your program is there's a lot of, in fact, I had a dentist that called me up that heard your show. And he told me that what you educate people on is really true.
Well,
I mean, this is yeah, really. But I mean, the fact that he was a dentist and they know somewhat about tongue trust, I thought was an incredible compliment. But I want people to know, here I'm a person with sleep apnea, snoring problems, and you really do. You stop breathing, and if you didn't snore, you might not wake yourself up. So it is very dangerous.
That's right.
And I think what you have is amazing, because this is not a gimmick.
Right.
This is not something you put over your nose.
Right. Okay, so let me just finish with what I was leading with, where you train your tongue to live on the roof of your mouth. And the other thing that this program does is it trains you to breathe through your nose and not your mouth. Now, what I want us to think about something different today, because I'm not a doctor, and I can't tell you that one of my clients' restless leg syndrome went away. Well, I'm not supposed to tell you that, because that's a medical problem, okay? There are lots of medical problems that are associated with mouth breathing, and I fear that most of the audience does not realize that. So when I was treating all of these people, I had them list all of their physical problems. I didn't know what I was going to learn from it. I just wanted to know before the program what problems they had, and then see what problems they had left after the program. Okay. And that's when I learned restless leg syndrome, heartburn, acid reflux, waking up with a headache, all kinds of medical issues actually went away. But it's not because of my program. It's not, it's not because of what I did So I'm not saying that I or my program can make these problems go away, but what happened was the person learned how to breathe through their nose. And that's the bottom line. Now, if all you people out there who need help, if you want to use my program, that's great, but you can use anything that will help you learn how to breathe through your nose. So, I don't think that I should keep all of this stuff from people, because people are walking around out there. I'm going to give you an example of things that have gone away after a person did the tongue exercises. See, in order to learn how to breathe through your nose, you have to do some kind of exercises with your tongue to make that happen. As silly and easy as it may sound, there's no other way to make that happen. And so that's why we have exercises. But just a few things that I've learned: restless leg syndrome, asthma, heartburn, nocturia, that's getting up during the night to go to the bathroom. Some people get up 5 times. They can start getting up just once. Okay. Difficulty concentrating, chronic cough, chronic throat clearing, excessive belching, bad dreams, teeth grinding, so many different things that people are walking around with and would have no idea that it's simply because they breathe through their mouth. So I think that that's what we really need to concentrate on. Some people are embarrassed saying they snore or have a tongue thrust or they have sleep apnea. So say you breathe through your mouth, and you've got to just learn how to close your mouth. That could be good on many levels. So that's what I want people to go out there and look for something. See if you can find something else that teaches you how to breathe through your nose. I think that would be good.
Janet, I'm going to tell people that are first being introduced to sleep apnea that have probably had it for a long time. It was funny yesterday. My girlfriend's sister was laying on the couch, fell asleep, snoring. And she would say, "Wake up, you're snoring." "Oh, I'm not snoring." That's the first thing. I'm not snoring. I know you probably heard that before.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is what I'm so excited about. I have a CPAP machine. It is the most uncomfortable thing ever to sleep with a mask on your nose.
I know.
And I got to tell you, even hearing this dentist say this, what you say with the tongue makes sense. First of all, you're a speech therapist, and this is kind of in the same realm.
Right.
So what does it hurt to try? Because if this works for you and you don't have to have a piece of equipment in your mouth, or you don't have to have a mask on your nose, can you imagine how much better the sleep is going to be without all that? And you're not selling some kind of a piece of equipment or anything. You have something that works. It's not going to work for everybody. Right. There's nothing. CPAP doesn't work for everybody. Right. But you have something special.
Right.
And it's just, I think, Janet, people just don't realize how dangerous sleep apnea is.
Right.
So because they don't even want to admit it.
Right. So let me jump in and talk about that that thing you said, equipment you were referring to.
Yes.
Actually, I do have a piece of equipment, and it's called a tongue stick.
Okay.
Okay, we couldn't think of a different name. It's a stick for your tongue. And okay, so I didn't mention that one huge reason that people breathe through their mouth is because their tongue is too wide. So you think about it, when you lay down to sleep and you get all comfy and relaxed, all those muscles are relaxed, and it's easy for a large tongue to kind of push your lips open while you're sleeping, and you end up breathing through your mouth. Okay. So this stick, when you learn how to properly stroke the sides of your tongue and add in an isometric exercise, you'll learn what that is. It literally makes the muscles on the sides of your tongue tickle, and they go like this. So your tongue actually gets more narrow so that it then will fit up on the roof of your mouth. This is a huge part of the program, but none of this hurts and none of it's hard. And those with tongue thrust, I didn't say too much about that, but I've learned that everything's connected. Okay. When I treat someone with a tongue thrust, they learn how to sleep better, they learn how to breathe better, and they swallow correctly. So those are three major areas. I can't treat a tongue thrust and not treat snoring or anything else. It's going to get treated whether it wants to or not. So that's what makes it so super simple. And a person might think, well, do I have to do exercises all my life? No way. Right now you're doing all these things, talking, chewing, and all that with a weak tongue. And that's why your swallow is poor. And that's why you might feel that something gets stuck in your throat sometimes. But when you learn how to make those muscles stronger and swallow differently, breathe through your nose, then you're good to go. Muscle memory is, your tongue muscles have muscle memory. So you don't have to do these exercises all your life.
Can you hold up
Yes.
that the thing again? Yes. So I mean, you don't sleep with that at night. So
no, you don't sleep with it. No. You use it when you do your exercises.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What percent of the people that you treat with sleep apnea or snoring, let's just call it snoring,
right,
does this seem to help?
Well, everyone that I treat does their exercises 2 times a day. If they don't, I stop treating them because it isn't going to work.
Not going to work.
And the answer to the question that you just asked would be very different. And so far, 100% of who I've treated have stopped snoring.
Well, it's like anything else. You got to stay at it.
That's right.
And you're only talking about 7 steps.
That's 7 lessons, 7 weeks, once a week. It's really amazing.
Well, one of the things I wanted to let people know is, first of all, I'm going to be starting on this. Second of all, that's how much I believe in it. Because if there's a way out there that I can put the sleep apnea machine up in the closet and don't have to use it, this will make a major difference in my life. And we also want people to know that I understand about snoring. And I'm beyond the stage where I'm embarrassed and say, oh, I don't snore. Because I've been through this, Janet, and I know how tough and difficult it is. What I didn't know was how dangerous it was, and not to let it go.
That's right. Absolutely. I've learned that people who have severe sleep apnea versus people who have very mild sleep apnea still have the same sleep deprivation symptoms. I mean, they can have the same symptoms. And the one with mild sleep apnea, their symptoms they hurt them as badly as the one who has severe sleep apnea. Okay. The bottom line is you're breathing through your mouth, and that's got to stop. But the big difference is that the severe sleep apnea person, they must do something to not stop breathing 66 times an hour or whatever, and because of their heart. That's what makes the big difference. Okay. They are more susceptible to heart failure, heart attacks, or any kind of heart problems when they stop breathing.
I think it's very important that people who are watching or listening right now, and I've already gotten 5 people wanting the phone number. If you're watching on TV, you can actually see we're scrolling the number below. For the people who are listening on radio, Janet, give those people your phone number.
Okay, it's area 828-285-8814. And you can go to correctmytonguethrust.com, or you can go to ijustwanttosleep.com. All the same exercises, just talking about, trying to talk about your personal problem more than the other. So you can find out a lot about me and my program. But like I said earlier, your goal is to find someone who can help you stop mouth breathing. And I think it's interesting when you do research on Google stuff about all these problems, they never mention stop mouth breathing. Okay, so they're saying the treatment for stopping snoring or sleeping better is to, get a dark, quiet, cool room and don't look at your computer, blah blah blah, all that. But no one ever talks about, are you breathing through your nose? And so this is brand new to so many millions of people. And actually, doctors should learn how to ask their patients, do you mouth breathe? But they don't. So so I want people to investigate and see whatever you can find that helps you, that's what you need to do.
I think also is important is because some people really don't know they snore. I mean, you're
Right.
asleep. And I got to tell you, candidates are people with high blood pressure, overweight, people who've had asthma in the past. There's a lot of things that you can look at. Mine was high blood pressure. And because maybe there are people out there who really don't know they snore, even though they do.
Right. If I can throw in a simple way for you to know if you snore or not is, do you wake up with a dry mouth? Now, what does that tell you? If you do, the air's going in and out through your mouth. Now, when you sleep, your mouth doesn't have to be wide open to be called a mouth breather. There can be just a small hole, maybe where your head hits the pillow. Your hand might actually move your lips so that you certainly had no idea that was happening, but it would allow air to go in and out of your mouth. So become aware of what's going on.
Yeah, and hopefully you might have either your parents or you might have friends of yours or other family members. This is probably one of the best things that you can tell them to do is to call Janet. And again, I'm speaking as a person with a snoring problem that I used to be embarrassed about. And I got to tell you, we know, Janet and I know, that it can cause relationship problems.
Yes, absolutely. I think snoring might be
your
the
partner
number 2.
Doesn't snore.
Well, snoring might be the number 2 reason for divorce. I think I heard that at some point.
Well, listen, it's tough when your snoring has gotten so loud that your partner has to go in another room and sleep. It makes it tough on a relationship.
Right.
And if you don't do anything about it, it's not going to stop on its own.
This is true.
And
That's a
I
good
think
point.
what Janet is doing, what you're doing, Janet, is, I mean, it's God sent as far as I'm concerned. And let's give everybody the number is 828-285-8814 for the people who are listening on radio.
Right.
And give everybody your website addresses too.
Okay, so it's www.correctmytonguethrust.com. Now, just because it says tongue thrust, remember, tongue thrust, snoring, sleep apnea, they all grow out of each other. Okay, same exercises. Correctmytonguethrust.com or ijustwanttosleep.com.
What great website address.
You can learn a lot there.
And this will be done if you're not in the same town as Janet. It's okay. You can be anywhere. and it will be done by basically like we do here on TV, zooming you in. But the most important thing is if you don't do what Janet teaches, you can't expect great results.
Right. But the major thing is I've made this program so you can go online and purchase your own program online, even though, like I said earlier, you have access to me through videos. But you can certainly call me. A lot of people now are choosing to have a consult when they purchase the program so that I can kind of check them out and, evaluate certain areas and make sure they understand how to do all of the exercises. And they say it makes all the difference in the world for their confidence. Okay? Because people might go into that thinking, I would never know how to do it, but you can. And I'm always available.
Well, I don't endorse, even with the business I'm in, I do not endorse a lot of products. I understand the concept of what you teach. And I'm going to tell you something. I cannot wait to get started because, again, if I can replace my CPAP machine and do it through these tongue exercises, oh my God, that's going to change my life.
Yeah.
It's going to make things so much better in my life because even though the sleep apnea machine is supposed to make you sleep better, you still got a mask on you.
Right.
And it's very uncomfortable. And it's not the way I think God wanted us to sleep with a mask on us. So and Janet will be back with us again next month, and you can actually catch her shows in our other markets. But this one more time, because I just had the guy right. Can you say the number again?
Yes.
One more time, Janet.
Area 828-285-8814.
You love helping people, don't you?
Yes, I do.
It's very obvious. Okay, listen, we'll be back with you again next week with more Ask the Experts here in Tampa. Everybody have a wonderful week. I hope everybody had a happy Easter. Stay blessed. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Janet.
Snoring, Tampa.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.